President or acting president, welcome and good evening to you.
Good evening, and good evening, viewers, and thank you very much for having me on Big Hour.
Indeed.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, IP.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to a good interaction.
Fantastic. I hope it's going to be a very good interaction. Which one is the correct position for the sake of this interview? Acting president or president? Which one is correct?
Several people have commented on this, and those who have commented have said the constitution of the Patriotic Front does not have any position as acting president. A person acts as president in the temporary absence of the incumbent president. In the event of the demise of the incumbent president, the vice president takes over the functions of president. In short, the vice president becomes president.
Right.
However, as for me, I don't mind by whatever name I'm called.
Right.
I think that what is important are the functions. What functions do I discharge? Is there anyone I go to, any office I go to seek approval of the decisions I want to make? If not, then I make the decision. And whether I'm called acting president, or I'm called vice president, or I'm called president, that for me is immaterial. For me, titles don't mean anything. For me, what is important is service and abiding by the provisions of the Constitution and the guidelines of the organization to which one belongs, and under which constitution that person performs their functions. That is what is cardinal. So let's leave out the issue of title. I don't mind whatever title you call me. This evening you can call me acting president, you call me president, you interchange the title, I have no problem whatsoever.
Right. Let's get into it. The biggest question Zambians are asking, and especially your members from the Patriotic Front, is the PF dead or alive?
Had the PF been dead, I wouldn't have been on this television program. The fact that you invited me here to come and talk about the PF is because it is alive. And beyond that, wherever you go in the country, go and ask to meet people who belong to the Patriotic Front, you meet them. Go and ask for leaders in the Patriotic Front. And by the way, the most important leaders are not even us who hold these lofty positions, president, national chairman for this and that. The most important are those foot soldiers. Are there people in Chawama today? Are there people in Kasama today who ascribe membership to the Patriotic Front? And if they are, then the PF is not dead, it is alive. And wherever I go, I meet with these people. Every place I go to, I meet with people who say we are members of the Patriotic Front. So I can attest to the fact that yes, the Patriotic Front is alive and kicking.
And why the confusion? If you are going to tell me and the people of Zambia via KBN TV that the PF is still well and alive, the question is why the confusion? And accusations are pointing at you that you are the source of all this confusion happening in the Patriotic Front. Why are you causing confusion in the PF? And why the confusion if you are not part of the confusion, or you're not part of the cause of this confusion?
I wonder what confusion people are looking at. What we have to bear in mind is that when President Edgar Chagwa Lungu retired in August 2021, he left the running of the party to me. And then there was confusion, and that confusion arose from the matter that has been discussed many, many times. The coup of 2023, 24th of October 2023. That's when we saw this huge confusion arising. But even before then, like in any organization, after the incumbent president of an organization leaves, there are some who think that there's a vacancy, there's a vacuum, and are in a hurry to fill in that vacuum, to fill in that vacancy. So when you talk about confusion, yes, there has been some element of confusion because there have been some people who felt that they were the ones who were supposed to have been left with the instruments of power. But that's expected in any organization. It's expected in any institution, when there is a change of guard, there will always be some who will say, why wasn't it me? And such people are the ones who create other centers of power beyond the one that is established. It is up to the person and those around the established office to make sure that they bring on board even those who are trying to cause some confusion. And look, we held the party together ever since 2021. And the party has been working as one unitary organization. It's still working as one unitary organization. And the squabbling and so on and so forth arose towards the end of 2025. And that squabbling arose from when one of the members of the Patriotic Front Central Committee made a statement, a public statement, that the vice president, the acting president, he has therefore no power to make any decisions. That is when I saw that confusion was now growing out of hand. And that is expected, especially that we are now coming to the point when we're going to have our general conference and people have lined themselves up for election. And they are competing for the positions in the party. They are competing primarily for the position of president. And because of that, some people are not capable of conducting campaigns in an orderly and civil manner. Those are the ones that you are hearing making all this fuss and hullabaloo. Otherwise, the majority of the members of the Patriotic Front are holding together, and they are working extremely hard to hold everyone together to avoid squabbles and to avoid finger pointing and to avoid the blame game. If anyone was to blame me for any decision, and they are members of the Central Committee, then they would be very, very unfair, because there are also other members of the Central Committee who have come to me and said, you are too patient. You should have cracked the whip much, much sooner than you are doing. These people have been causing havoc in Central Committee meetings, but you never cracked the whip. And I said to them, it is not only cracking the whip that holds people together. Sometimes patience and resilience and persuasion is much more important than cracking the whip. There have been some members of the Central Committee who are so disruptive in Central Committee meetings, and once or twice I've asked them to leave the Central Committee meeting to go and cool down and come back when they are cool. And some people haven't felt that that was sufficient. Others have been thinking, when a person misbehaves like that, they misconduct themselves like that in a Central Committee, they must be punished. You know, that they must be sent to the disciplinary committee and so on. My style is different. My style is persuasion. My style is bringing everybody together and educating one another so that people can hold together. And we've used that strategy over the last 4 years, and I'm happy that up to this date, the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front is holding together because of that strategy. So I have to say that we have weathered the storm, and there is only a few weeks before we hold our conference. And having come this far, I have to say thank you, and thank you very much to all the members of the Patriotic Front. If you look at the history of Zambia, you will see that the two political parties that lost government before the PF, UNIP, after they lost government, they went into serious disarray. MMD, they equally went into disarray. As we speak today, I don't know if there is any MMD to talk about. But if you look at the Patriotic Front, we have weathered the storm, and we have weathered the storm which has also been instigated from outside. There has not been any implosion in the PF. There was almost an implosion after 24th of October 2023, but we weathered that. We are still holding together. If you ask how many people went away from the Patriotic Front Central Committee after October 2023, there was probably only 1 or 2 members of the Central Committee. Today, we are talking about Chabinga, who is constantly taking the Patriotic Front in and out of court. Ask how many members of the Central Committee who were left by Edgar Chagwalungu are in the Chavinga team? None. Zero. All the members of the Central Committee who were left by Edgar Chagwalungu and all the ones who were recruited and appointed by myself, none has gone to Chavinga. None has left the Central Committee voluntarily. None. If there are any members who have left the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front, it is because of the decision I made. I am the one who removed some members of the Central Committee. Not a single member of the Central Committee said, I don't subscribe to Lubinda's style of leadership and therefore I'm resigning. No. We are all holding together. And I have to thank all my colleagues for holding together. I have to thank the provincial leadership throughout the country. They are the ones who are holding the districts. And I have to thank the district committees because they are the ones who are holding together the constituencies. And I have to thank the constituency committees throughout the country because they're the ones who are holding the wards. And the ward officials throughout the country are the ones who are holding the members. So this achievement should not be attributed to one person, nor should it be attributed to any one committee. This achievement, this success is shared by all of us, and especially by those of our members who don't have any title, those who don't have any position. They are the ones who have been edging us on and saying, Sungeni chpani, and we're keeping it for them. So to them, I say, hearty congratulations. You have brought us this far, and soon we shall go to the conference. Well done, members of the Patriotic Front. Well done, supporters of the Patriotic Front.
And clearly, Mr. President, when you go on the ground, you realize that the people who are more affected are the members from the grassroots level. These are the people from the structures. These are the people, the young people who are online, who are always lamenting that why are our leaders, fighting at the top. We have not seen any direction from 2021 up to where we are today. The division and the confusion is being caused by you yourselves at the top level. And you sit here, proudly so, as the president of the party, leading a political party full of confusion. From 2021, yes, that's a fact, when ECL resigned from active politics at the time, he left the mantle with you to lead the party and show direction. Fast forward, ECL comes back to his position. You went and became the vice president. In short, you reverted to your position of vice president. Again, the unfortunate happened. ECL, he goes to Africa for medical treatment. Unfortunately, he dies. Lubinda is given back again the position of president, as it is today. But a member of the Patriotic Front is saying, it's like you people, all you are doing on top of this, just about confusion. It's about showing or exhibiting your egos. Today, as we speak, Mr. President, your party has given to different or so many factions as we speak today. You can talk about the Given Lubinda faction. You talk about the Chavinga faction. You check around, each and every presidential candidate seem to have their own members. Your members are in disarray, are in dilemma right now. How proud are you to lead such a political party? And how can you say congratulations, thank you so much to the members out there for holding on to the party when the confusion is happening at your level as big people?
The people who are creating confusion are the ones who are coming to television stations such as yours and posturing and naming others and blaming others and saying this one and that one is one who's caused problems. And I have heard a lot of them who are saying Lubinda is the one who's delaying the convention. Those are the ones who are creating confusion. Those are the ones who are creating despondency in the people. Those are the ones who are acting without sincerity. Those are the confusionists. Those who come to televisions, who go to radio stations, who take to social media and start blaming others for decisions that are arrived at collectively.
Right.
Okay? Now, why I'm saying congratulations to ordinary members of the party, they are not the cause of this problem. No. And when you talk about factions, put things straight, there is no Lubinda faction. No. I am currently called vice president, acting president, president. I cannot afford to have a faction. What I belong to is the Patriotic Front. And every member of the Central Committee attends meetings chaired by myself. And those who are honest subscribe to my authority. Okay? Now, when a decision was made that we should hold the General Conference on the 29th of November, before that, I was made to realize that there were some things that were happening in the party in the background which were inimical to the interest of the party.
What were those? I want us to have a candid conversation.
We are going to have a very candid conversation.
What were those issues?
There were people who were planning to have meetings away from the regular structure of the party. No one in the party is allowed to convene any meeting of the Central Committee except the President. And those meetings shall be called by no other than the Secretary General or a person designated as such. Now, obviously, as the custodian of the PF Constitution, when I got cogent information that there were plans for people to hold a Central Committee meeting away from the President, I had to start taking corrective measures. Soon after that, there was a meeting of the presidential candidates. And I'm coming to this because you said every presidential candidate has a faction, and I'll come to it a little later.
Correct.
The aspirants, they're not even presidential candidates because one becomes a candidate only after filing in nominations.
Right.
But up to now, none of us has filed in nominations. All of us have just expressed interest. And after expression of interest, anything can happen between then and the time of filing in of nomination.
Right.
So those who expressed interest gathered together under the auspices of the Council of Elders. And in that meeting, we were analyzing our readiness to go to the conference on the 29th of November. And all the people who attended that meeting, except myself, spoke about the readiness. And it was concluded that because of the Chavinga injunction, we would be taking too huge a risk to call a conference on the 29th of November. And a resolution was arrived at. And in that meeting, one aspirant, one person who had expressed interest, to make it easy, one of the candidates,
Who is that?
said in that meeting, this resolution must be made public. But I beg you, it should not be made by the President. Because if it is made by the President, some of you among us will change the narrative and you say it is Lubinda who has decided. And after that, they asked amongst themselves, who is going to volunteer? And Honorable Makebi Zulu said, I will read this resolution. And Honorable Makebi Zulu read the resolution. And yet 2 days later, what happened? They went out and said Lubinda decided. How did Lubinda decide, for heaven's sake? Talking about factions, I have not heard that Makebi Zulu has a team in Lusaka province that is calling itself Makebi Zulu team. MZ8. No. I don't think you have heard any people calling themselves GL8. No. I don't think you have heard people calling themselves Monde 8, GM8, Kambwidi 8, Mausampa 8. No. So it is not correct, and I don't think it would be fair for me to sit here and not clarify when you say every presidential candidate has a faction.
Right.
Because I'm not aware of any such thing. I have seen on social media I've read on social media, some people talking about one particular person, saying this person is an institution unto themselves, and that this person is recruiting 72 members in every province at provincial level. And these 72 members are members of that person's campaign team. 72 members at district level. And some people have raised an eyebrow. And they have said, this is dangerous. It was brought to my attention as president, and my immediate reaction was that read the Constitution. I have power, according to the Constitution, to take disciplinary action against any erring member. However, that will only be when I see it fit. If it is others who see that somebody has breached the provisions of the Constitution, they go to the Secretary General, and the Secretary General generates disciplinary measures. So, to be fair to the majority of those who have expressed interest, I have not heard of anyone creating factions, except the one case which I will not want to delve into, because that matter is already a matter which is subject to disciplinary measures. And I don't think it will be fair for me to be talking about one individual on a television like this without giving them an opportunity to come and defend themselves on this same television program. All I can say is that the due process of the Constitution is taking effect, and soon and very soon the country will be informed about the measures that are being taken against a person who is alleged to be creating parallel structures, and therefore one who can qualify to be said to be creating a faction. Had there been factionalism in the Patriotic Front based on presidential aspirants, people like Chishimba Kambwili would not be attending Central Committee meetings. People like Greyford Monde would not continue as chairman for mobilization. People like Miles Sampa would not sit with me as Deputy Secretary General responsible for politics, because then we've been two factions. But we're working together because we're only in one party, the Patriotic Front. And I'd like to seize this opportunity, IP, to call upon all our members countrywide. You belong to only one PF. The PF that was established by that gallant son of Africa, Michael Chirofya Sata, may his soul rest in peace. The one that was bequeathed to us by yet another giant son of Africa, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, may his soul rest in peace. That is the only one Patriotic Front to which we belong. We cannot afford to be enticed to belong to individuals. No. People cannot be enticed to belong to Given Lubinda. No. I am part of this whole vessel called Patriotic Front. And the people that I interact with, I must give them the due respect that they are members of the Patriotic Front. I must not use anything to try and coerce them to belong to me as an individual, simply because I'm a presidential candidate. No, because doing that is creating divisions. Even after the General Conference, if one such a person was to win, the others who were not part of that team will say, well, this fellow already lined up here his own leadership, so we're not members of this new organization. You are destroying. So I'd like to appeal to all members of the Patriotic Front, remain loyal to the organization and not to any individuals. Not even to me. Don't be loyal to me as Lubinda. Be loyal to the office. Be loyal to me because I'm a member of the team. Be loyal to me as a member, not as an individual. No. Because if you're going to be loyal to me as an individual, then you're making me create a cult of my own. And if you create a cult within an organization, what have you done? You have divided it. So I appeal to all our members, be steadfast, continue to be loyal to your party.
What should have been the best procedure on how your members perhaps should have conducted themselves in a quest to mobilize for their presidential bids, for their presidential ambitions. I'm calling it factions because a faction is basically, the formation of various groups. I'm a leader as IP here. Of course, so you follow me, I mobilize my people. You also have your own as President Lubinda and your people. Those are what we call factions at the end of the day. I know you are trying to run away from the word factions, but this word will still remain if you ask me. But again, let me ride with what you've said. You've talked about, for example, MZ8 and the campaign team. You've talked about CK8 and the campaign team, which you have not seen except for one man. And I will be candid myself to mention that what we have covered from the media is the BM8 campaign team. And when we've tried to interview that team to understand why the BM8 campaign team, they're calling it's a mobilization, strategy. It is our own strategy which we have reviewed to the general public, that this is how we want the people and within and outside to rally behind Brian Munduwire. Hence we're calling it BM8 campaign team, which according to you, you seem to be against that.
What I'm against...
And what were you expecting members to mobilize their support for their candidates?
What I'm against is creating an institution within an institution. That's what I'm against. There are people who certainly are supporting me, but they're not going to be caged and be called, this is Lubinda's team. No. They are members of the PF. When they go to the conference, they'll be going there not as Lubinda's team. They'll be going there as members of the PF. And if you hear me putting a tattoo on people, I tattoo you. These 2 tattoos are to show that you are supporting me. What have I done? I've created an institution within an institution. But if I come and convince you, IP, I'm contesting, please vote for me, and you assure me, yes, I'll vote for you, and you have no tattoo, and another presidential aspirant comes to you and also talks to you, that is what is healthy. Okay? Now, what I have heard is that there are some people who have gone beyond that. They have gone beyond simply campaigning. They have now started recruiting people and giving them positions. All right? Now, how do you give positions in an already existing system? What power do you have? This is what I'm trying to avoid. And I'm not naming anyone here. I have no power to name anyone. All I'm saying is what all of us must do in the Patriotic Front, in the spirit of holding together, let us go and campaign to our people, knowing that these are members of the party. We must not do anything that creates any impression that we're establishing a new structure in the party. I must not go out and start telling people, you are mine. I'm giving you a membership card for me. We mustn't do that. Because after the conference, I've lost elections, but I've given you a membership card. Where will you belong? You will belong to the PF through me, if I continue to be a member of the PF. And because I've put a tattoo on you, of me, if I decide to leave the PF, what will happen? You will not remain in the PF with the tattoo that I gave to you. Because people will say, you have a tattoo of that man. Follow him. You see what I mean? Even the one who will win will look upon those that I put a tattoo on and say, this one is not mine. This one belongs to Lubinda. I have created a division not only for now, but also for the future of the party. So my appeal to all of us aspirants is that let us go and campaign to our people in a manner that builds. Also, I have to state to you that the crafters of our constitution and our electoral regulations were very wise men and women. They were extremely wise. This idea of registering for expression of interest, unfortunately, IP, came about because of what I said earlier. When President Edgar Lungu retired, some people said, now there is a vacuum, let us fill in this vacuum in a hurry. All right? And they said, let us start paying expression of interest fees. And soon after that, some of them started going countrywide campaigning. Whereas the constitution of the Patriotic Front and the electoral regulations of the party state that filing of nomination would take place, will close 24 hours before the council. The reason the crafters of the constitution did that in their wisdom, which I appreciate very much, it was that if you're a member of the Patriotic Front, why should we give you 2 years to campaign? Because if we give you 2 years to campaign and you go countrywide campaigning, you will get to a point where you start damaging each other. If you're a bona fide member of the party, 24 hours before the council, your name is put there, and people know who their leaders are.
But that hasn't been followed by your party. You as a leader, you haven't implemented that. You have left people campaign in perpetuity for the last 2 years, or because yourself you have failed to convene the convention, to implement a convention.
It's not that we failed to convene a convention, and it was not out of anyone's volition. No. After people filed expression of interest in 2022, we had set ourselves to have first a constitution conference. And after that, after amending the constitution, then would have an elective conference. Unfortunately, the dates that were set happened to have coincided with Umutomboko. All right? And that same date coincided with a major invitation for President Edgar Lungu to go to a Catholic church in Katete. And members of the conference organizing committee are the ones who said we can't hold the conference on a date that we're having Umutomboko.
And you didn't foresee all that on your calendars?
No, we didn't foresee that
as leaders, intelligent men and women. You did not foresee that. You missed the annual calendar or the annual events.
As you know, the Umutomboko is not set well in advance. There's no ceremony in Zambia that is set well in advance. No. We happen to have set the date of our conference before Umutomboko date was set. So we couldn't follow that calendar because it wasn't in existence. So it's not a question of lack of intelligence on the part of the Central Committee. Not at all. It just happened that the date that we had selected became the date that the Umutomboko was put on. And the leaders of that conference preparating committee are the ones who said, we can't hold it. Let's postpone it. And after the postponement, then things happened and ECL came back. And after ECL came back, I convened a meeting with all those who had expressed interest. And I said, ECL is back. What do you say about the extraordinary conference? And they said, no, we can't hold it. So there was no scope for holding any extraordinary conference after ECL came back until June 5th, 2025. Now, the issue is that after some of the people expressed interest in 2022, they went round campaigning. And a few of the others raised concern. I hope I'm not embarrassing Chishimba Kambwili, because he went public and said, this is not done. This is alien to the politics of PF for people to start campaigning before the General Conference. Okay? Now, it's not as though the Central Committee allowed people go and campaign. No. The Central Committee IP had even said, stop campaigning until such a time that the Central Committee adopts the rules of engagement. While the Central Committee was developing the rules of engagement, others were being heard going left, right, and center and getting endorsement here and endorsement there. In the end, the others also said, why is it that we are being gagged but others are doing what they are not supposed to do? Then hell broke loose. Everybody started to engage. There are also some people who come to the television station and who go to social media and say, but Lubinda was going around. The truth of the matter, IP, is that even my travels across the country were being checkered. We had agreed as members of the Central Committee that we are going to divide ourselves and visit provinces. Huh? That too was received with resistance by some people. And wherever I have gone in the country, if you follow wherever I've been, it is either I'm going to attend a funeral, I'm going to attend a church function, I'm going to attend a traditional ceremony. You have not heard me going to, I'm going to attend a by-election. You have not heard that I've gone to only meet officials, I'm going to meet delegates. No. No. But some people were abusing that and saying, he's taking advantage of his position. I only declared my interest towards the end of 2025. That's when I declared interest. When I was here the last time before end of 2025, you asked me the question and I said, I'll inform you when the time is there. When the time comes, I'll inform the nation. So from 2021, I never ever expressed interest. There are some people also, IP, who have been so, what's the word, insincere, who have taken to social media and have said, President Lungu and Lubinda entered into a pact that the two of them will be kingmakers. Huh? That the two of them are the ones who are going to give birth to a president.
And you have betrayed
and
that trust.
Yes, I've betrayed the trust of ECL. Very well. Let's assume we entered into that pact in 2021. In 2023, what did President Edgar Lungu do? He came back to active politics.
Correct.
What did we say in the Patriotic Front about Edgar Lungu's participation in PF? What did we say about him for election in 2026? We said he's the presidential candidate. And they didn't see that if there was a pact that we entered into, that he abrogated it. They were actually the ones even telling him, well, President, welele nipo. If it is true that there was this pact and that pact is binding, why wasn't it binding on President Edgar Lungu when we told him that you're going to be our presidential candidate in 2026? If it was okay for President Edgar Lungu to walk out of that agreement, why is it wrong for me to do so? If the two of us agreed that Mwana, you and I, let us be kingmakers, and now he is no longer there, why is it binding on me? You can see that this is a product of mischief. Because had they been sincere, at the time when President Edgar Chagwa Lungu came back to active politics, we should have also said, no, President Edgar Lungu, you agreed with your brother Lubinda that the two of you will be kingmakers. But we're the ones who were even saying, please, welele nipo, tapali naumbi, it is just you.
So from where you stand, there was no such an agreement or a discussion or a pact whatsoever?
There were many discussions between President Edgar Lungu and myself. Many.
Did you have any discussion around
I will not divulge anything that has not been divulged by others, because the conversation I was having with him were not in the public domain. And I will not bring them into the public domain simply because he's not here.
So the issue of kingmakers, you being a kingmaker and ECL having agreed that, look, we have done our part, we have run our race, can we ensure that we usher in the next leadership? We should not contest. There was nothing like that, as it is
that's
being.
why I'm saying I'm not going to say all the things that I and President Edgar Lungu agreed on.
Right.
Because he's not here. And because he's not here to vouch for me, I can even lie. Like others who have been lying that he anointed them. I am not that small. I am not that shallow as to abuse a person who cannot vouch for what I claim they said or agreed with me. Because, look, he's not here. What I discussed with him in confidence remains there in confidence. And there are many things we spoke about. There are many issues we considered. When people are filing in for expression of interest in 2022, there are many issues we spoke about. For me, not to put in my expression of interest, but all those details, even if I was to say them now, who will vouch for me to say it is true? Only me. And using a man who's with the Lord.
There's no witness whatsoever.
He can't come back and say, yes, I told him. Yes, we agreed.
Yeah, let's talk about the firing and hiring of members into the Central Committee. You've also been accused that in your position as acting president or president, you've been unfair. You've been unfairly firing people, especially those who are not in your camp. What does the Constitution tell you? I know you've come with a Constitution. I've got a copy as well here. We'll compare. Just tell me, what powers are you using to fire people from the Central Committee and also hire people into the Central Committee?
The Constitution of the Patriotic Front bestows the office of president with power to take any decision, which in the president's opinion is in the interest of the security and development of the party. Right. That's what the Constitution says. Stretch that. It means if you have a dictatorial president, if you have a dictator of a president, using that power, he can literally dissolve a committee, the whole committee. And he does not have to report to anybody. That's what the Constitution of the PF says. So, those who are saying, I have no power, I heard some man and a person who held a very senior position in the party coming on television, he has no power, he has no power. Then I start to realize this is why we lost elections in 2021. We're being led by a person who doesn't even know what is contained in the Constitution that he was supposed to have been using to run the party. What a shame. It's really a shame. I feel sad that I was part and parcel of the team that was being led by such an ignorant fellow. The Constitution is clear. If you read Article 61J, it will explain to you that the president has such power. And to say I've been firing people who are not in my support, I would like someone to tell me. I've also heard some people saying he fired people who are supporting me. Show me evidence that these people are supporting you. Show me. Because for me, I didn't know that they were supporting you. And if I was firing people who are supporting a particular person, people not supporting me, and I'm replacing them, then you'd expect me to replace them with people who are supporting me. Isn't it? If I'm firing people who don't support me, I'll replace them with people who support me. But look at the people that I've been appointing to the Central Committee. Are you sure that aspiring candidate Miles Sampa should go into the Central Committee and support my presidential candidature? He wants to be president himself. He wants to be president.
You fired people like the national chairperson, Mr. Mpakata. You fired people like Medesiana. You fired people like Brenda Nyirenda, among others. What offense did they commit for you to fire them from the Central Committee?
I said the provision of the Constitution does not oblige me to tell anyone, not even the Central Committee. And even when I went to report to the Central Committee, I did not give them reasons. And no one questioned me. So leave that to me. I have my own reasons because the Constitution provides. When I appointed Medesiana, did anyone ask me why I appointed her? It is me who appointed Medesiana into the Central Committee. It is me who elevated Mpankata to become first deputy chairperson of the party and to make him acting national chairperson. Did anybody come to ask me why I made him deputy chairman? No. There are many people I've appointed into the Central Committee. Has anyone asked me, give us the reason? No. And the Constitution empowers the president to disappoint people without giving reason. And because I didn't give reason to the party, I don't think I should be obliged to give reason to the public. No.
I'm looking at this booklet, which is the disciplinary code handbook of the Party Front, together with the Constitution here, which is for the PF. Now, I'm looking at the rules of natural justice. When I read through here, you find that it tells me that the rules of natural justice requires that the authority vested in the disciplinary power should do and observe the following principles. Number one, it says the offense should be communicated in written to the member. That's A. B, it tells me that the member should be given reasonable time within which to respond to the charge preferred against him or her. On C, it tells me that the member must be offered an opportunity to be heard by an impartial committee or tribunal. If I can go further to D rather, which says the committee, which include the disciplinary proceedings, must communicate its decision to the member within a reasonable period of time and inform him or her of his rights to appeal if he or she is dissatisfied with a decision. So I'm looking at the spirit of natural justice. When you were firing people from the Central Committee, or when you found them guilty as a president, you notice that I think these members are not acting in accordance with the party's good spirit. Did you write to them in line with your own document here?
IP.
Unless I'm not reading a correct document.
No, you are just not listening.
Okay.
And I hope that the viewers are listening.
Yes.
I did not say.
Make me listen.
Yes. I did not say, IP, that I took disciplinary action.
Yeah.
No. I did not take disciplinary action against any one of the people that I removed from the Central Committee.
Right.
I did not take disciplinary action. Please get it clearly.
Okay.
Instead, I invoked the power that is vested in the president in accordance with Article 61J.
Which empowers you to fire.
I would like you to read. Like you to read.
Okay.
61J.
61.
This is J.
J.
And start from the preamble.
Okay, so the preamble says the president of the party shall be the principal spokesman of the party on national and international affairs. On B, it says create offices in the party. C, preside over meetings of the Central Committee. D, convene meetings of the Central Committee and the National Council. On E, it says exercise discretion in regards to items of discussion by the Central Committee or the National Council, and it may, after explanation to approve to the approval of that to the appropriate body, to delete any item from the agenda of the meeting. On F rather, give instructions to any official or member of the party. On J, you are saying empower any member of the party to exercise any powers or specified functions for and on behalf of the president, a party or the central committee. On H, appoint an ad hoc or standing committee to advise the party on any matter whatsoever. On I, you are saying have power to take disciplinary action against a member of the party on the grounds, on grounds of, on grounds of the members' misbehavior, and shall report his action to the central committee for ratification. Okay, this is interesting.
Right.
Okay.
And J?
And then J, you are saying take decision or action which in his opinion, which in his opinion is the best interest of the development or security of the party.
Good. What does that say? That the president has the power to
make decisions
or take
action.
Does it say what kind of decision?
No, it doesn't.
Does it say what kind of action?
Not at all.
No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Okay.
And
correct.
Had I used I, had I said these people have misconducted themselves, I would have used I.
Correct.
Which is disciplinary action.
Right.
Which you referred to, which requires the natural justice. But I did not use that. I did not. To date, I have not said Mpankata misconducted himself. Did I?
No. Look, you may have said it or not, but the fact that you fired them, you acted.
Yes.
You took the last whip by firing someone. It's like I'm in this position, and then you just come and say, okay, you are no longer in this position.
Yes.
You would have fired me already.
No.
Okay.
Look, the president has the power to appoint, and this is a principle of law. He who has the discretion to appoint,
correct,
also has the discretion to disappoint.
Yes, but before you appoint or disappoint, do you follow this booklet which I've read here, the disciplinary code, where you write to someone, and then if you see a person not really complying to what you want, then you crack the last whip, because firing is the last stage.
No.
Okay.
No.
Please educate us.
Firing is different from disappointing.
Right.
I have not expelled anyone except those members of parliament who went against the 3-line whip.
Right.
Okay? The others were simply removed from the central committee. They are still
so
members.
That is not firing?
No.
They are still members of the central committee?
No. They are not members of the central committee, but are members of the party. And
No. I'm talking about them being members of the central committee. They were fired from being members of the highest body of the party.
They were disappointed from the central committee.
Right.
Okay.
So before you could disappoint them, did you give them a chance to be heard? Did you write to
what?
What was the reason why you disappointed them?
I don't want to tell you that because the Constitution does not oblige me. It says, in my opinion.
Right.
That's what it says.
Correct.
It is the same as the Republican president. The Constitution allows the Republican president to appoint cabinet ministers. Does he go to the public to say, I'm appointing this and this because of this reason? No. When he disappoints ministers, does he go to the public to say, I'm disappointing him because of this? Does he take them to the police that I'm charging this one? No. The one who has the discretion to appoint has the power to disappoint. And I invoked the provisions of Article 61J, which is very clear.
Right.
Article 61I is the one that you are referring to when you talk about the content of the disciplinary handbook.
Right.
For instance, I indicated to you this evening that I am made aware of the fact that the Secretariat wrote a letter to some people to exculpate themselves because they are facing disciplinary measures. The ones that I removed from the Central Committee, as I sit here, I have not said, and I will never say that they committed any breach of the Constitution. No.
So it was just the President, Honorable Lubinda, waking up and disappointing them.
Yes. Just the same way as the Honorable Lubinda waking up and appointing them. When I appointed them, no one challenged me.
Of course, some of them, it's not you who appointed them, by the way. When you talk about, for example, Brenda Nyirenda, I think she was not appointed by you.
She was.
She was appointed by ECOs.
No, wait.
Okay.
The presidency is president and his vice.
Right.
If you read the functions of the vice president here, it tells you that the vice president is the chief advisor to the president.
To the president.
So whatever decisions President Edgar Lungu made after 2021,
that came from you.
I was his advisor.
Right.
Nobody who was appointed after 2021 can say they were appointed only by ECL. No.
Right.
I was part of the presidency. Okay? I was part of the presidency. And when I took over as president, I assumed the functions of the president.
Right.
So when I say when we appointed or when I appointed those that I appointed, nobody complained. Right. I gave you an example of me appointing my friend, and he's my friend, Musonda Mpankata. I appointed him deputy national chairperson.
Right.
Did I have to give reasons? I didn't. All right? So when I disappointed him, I don't have to give reasons. And I'm fortified by the provisions of Article 61 of the Constitution. And I have not said, and I have never said, and I will not say that my friend Musonda Mpankata committed an offense. No. Had he committed an offense, I would have invoked Article 61I to take him to disciplinary committee. And I also have to inform you and inform the viewers that this is not the first time this has happened in the Patriotic Front. No. There have been people who have been appointed and disappointed, not only by me but also by my predecessors, because the Constitution provides for such power. And even issues of discipline. There are many members of the Patriotic Front whose cases up to now are still in the office of the chairman of discipline, George Chisanga. They were charged. And the due process which is provided for in this handbook were followed. In your last meeting, you, I think we read the resolutions which was issued by the Deputy SG Administration, Celestine Mukandila, in which, again, you are requesting the same members you disappointed to appear or to exculpate themselves. Is that correct? No. Okay. No. The ones that I disappointed have nothing to answer to anybody. Right. No. Those are free members of the party. They can go about doing their business as members of the party. There is no one who has charged them. No, they are innocent. The people in question here are Brian Munduvile? The people in question here are the ones who Secretary General Mukandila wrote to. And the report that was presented to the Central Committee mentioned names of people who were written to. Right. Yes, and those have nothing to do with the ones that I disappointed. Nothing whatsoever. And they're not related. When you talk about these groupings, of course, President Lubinda, you realize that almost everybody here, like, for example, you seem to have, look, there has been endorsements, which, as we mentioned earlier on. People have been receiving some endorsements here and there, but people are saying you feel threatened by, for example, the Munduvile group. Munduvile seemed to be receiving a massive number of people endorsing him, and that has been perceived that it has unsettled you as Honorable Lubinda,
who perhaps is not receiving an overwhelming endorsements from some members, and I'll go further by stating to you that, for example, if that is the issue which you may have against some other candidates or aspirants, you've got, for example, Mumbi Piri, a senior member of the party, who has come out rallying behind Makebi Zulu. You've got, for example, Sylvia Chalikosa, a senior member of the party, former member of parliament for Pika Central, from the office of vice president, who seemed to be rallying behind Makebi Zulu. You've got Godfrida Sumaire. All these are senior members who have come out and endorsing Makebi Zulu. Why shouldn't the same happen to other candidates, like, for example, Brian Munduire?
I think there's a big difference in what you're saying.
What's the difference there?
The difference is that when people are gathered and you give them a microphone, okay? These are provincial officials, district officials, and so on. And they stand up and say, we in this province endorse Given Lubinda. It is different from what you're saying, people in the party following somebody and they're going around supporting that person. There's a big difference. I hope you see what I mean. There's a huge difference. Okay? There's a huge difference. And I already explained to you that in any decent organization, you conduct your campaigns in such a manner that you are building. You're not destroying. There are some people who have been traveling with me. Even before I registered interest, they were traveling with me. Some of the people you are seeing traveling with this candidate, that candidate, have also traveled with me, and they still travel with me. You get my point? They still travel with me. I can show you pictures, I can show you videos of some of the people you have mentioned being in my company. And when they travel with me, if they were to go out and mobilize people in Mpika and say, now guys, come and say we're endorsing Lubinda, I would say stop it. Because if you do that, what does it mean to the other aspirants? They must not come to this particular place to come and solicit for campaigns. Okay? You cannot go and start telling people, you go into Kabwata constituency, for instance, and you get the Kabwata constituency committee come and say you have endorsed Lubinda because he was your member of parliament. What would that mean to candidate Greyford Monde? Will he go to Kabwata? No. You have shut the door because you think these people have already endorsed this person. But is it even true? I at least have heard, wherever I've heard that such a person has been endorsed, the following day I hear people saying, no, me, I wasn't there. I've received letters from people who today they announce this is a member of this team, and so they write to me and say, Mr. President, I was not consulted. I don't know anything about this appointment. We have heard provincial chairpersons standing up and saying, no, this endorsement is not authentic. So you can see that this is brewing and brooding confusion. And we must desist from doing that. I have no problem seeing Honorable Mutotwe Kafuaya traveling around with friends in the Central Committee. I have no problem. I actually encourage it. Let them visit our people. Let them go and rejuvenate our people. But everybody will have a problem if Honorable Kafuaya, if Honorable Katotobwe, if Honorable Greyford Monde, Honorable Sampa, everybody is going around the country and mobilizing people. Indoors. What are you doing?
You were advised also that in as much as you want to position or posture yourself as a man of integrity, as a person who believes in orderliness, look, you've served this party for, I think, from inception with Michael Chufyasata.
I joined from 2006.
Yeah. So let's give it to you. That you've been around for quite a while.
20 years now.
Yes, there you go. There you go. You express your interest to stand as a party president. Don't you think that there is some forms of conflict of interest? Why can't you say, okay, morally, And look, when you gave up the position in Kawata, that look, I've done my part, I've run my race. Why? Let me step aside. People said, here goes a man of integrity in Honorable Given Lubinda. What has been so difficult for you this time around, after you expressed your interest, your intention to stand as a PF president, and therefore you've even filed your nominations? Why can't you say, to level the playing field, let me relinquish this position as a party president? Because you can't serve two masters at a time. One of the two get compromised along the way. I'm just assuming that is me now, trying to assume though.
You're right.
Yes. Why can't we say, fine, just to level the playing field? I'm no longer your party acting president. Let us begin to campaign, all of us, on a level playing field. But you're still clinging on to this position as acting president. At the same time, you are a presidential candidate. It's like you're a player and also a referee at the same time.
There's a big distinction between those things you're talking about. Number one.
So before you answer that, let me press another question. You go further, as if this is not enough. You went further to appoint another competitor in Honorable Mao Samba, who should have been out of any position together with you yourself. You appoint him as a deputy SG or acting deputy SG. Where is the morality in that regards? The integrity?
Yes.
And the level playing field?
You've asked three questions.
Correct.
First, the question was the comparison with what I did in Kabwata.
Mm-hmm.
I was member of parliament for Kabwata for how many years?
20 years.
20 years.
Mm.
And I said, no, this is enough. 20 years of me being member of parliament is enough. Let me hand it over to somebody else. Right. How long have I been president? 20 years? No. Only 5 years. So you can't make that comparison. It's a wrong comparison.
Why not give up that position now? Because you're a player.
Why? What do you mean?
You are a competitor now.
All right. Now,
yeah.
That's the second question.
Mm-hmm.
And let me answer that question also.
Mm.
Tell me any political party that you know of where the incumbent president resigns before elections, that because I'm a president, I am not going to contest. Which one? None. Why me?
And you have to follow suit.
No, why me? If
from the moral,
wait a minute.
The moral aspect.
So are you saying that those who contest for re-election are immoral? Is it immorality to present
you are
yourself?
Changing my question.
I'm not changing your question.
Yeah.
I'm not changing your question. I've asked you first. Have you heard of any incumbent president of a political party who says, because I'm the incumbent president, I'm going to retire to allow others to come when they still want to run? Never. If they want to continue, what do? They continue. Why isn't it a conflict of interest for them? Why has it become a conflict of interest for me? I've also extended the question. A Republican president who has served one term in Zambia, according to the Zambian constitution, is allowed a second term. Is it immoral for them to say, I'm going for a second term? It's not. Why is it immoral for me? So you can see that that argument is an argument that's being advanced by people who actually are scared of me.
Notice the opposite. Notice you who is scared of them. Because if you are not scared of them, you would have relinquished this position. So look, I'm already popular, so I'm going to wallop them, all of them. So let me just concentrate on my campaigns. But for you, maybe, to cling to this position, perhaps you are the one afraid of them, that maybe if you lose this position, they might
what is the practice?
Challenge you.
What is the practice? Tell me what the practice is. Where in the Constitution here, this Constitution, where does it say that for an incumbent president to seek re-election, they must resign? Where? This Constitution actually says the current president is the one who opens the conference. Whether they are a candidate or not, they open the conference. And after they have opened the conference, then they dissolve themselves. The president says, I now dissolve myself and the Central Committee. And I'm presenting myself for re-election. That is what the procedure is. And that is the procedure in any democratic political party.
So in short, you don't intend to relinquish your position anytime soon until on the day of the convention?
Unless somebody shows me where it is provided for. Secondly, we are going to a conference to elect the president and all members of the Central Committee. And I know of many members of the current Central Committee, who are vying for re-election. According to that argument, all of them must resign on the basis of morality. If all of them resign, who will run this party? Who will organize the conference? Do you see how shallow that thinking is? All the members of the Central Committee now, according to that argument, only those who say, me, I'm not intending to be re-elected, are the ones who must remain. Does that make sense? That is an argument being presented by people who are shallow-minded, the ones who think that they can arm twist me. Okay? If I was to resign now and I say, I'm resigning because I'm a candidate, how would the position of president be filled? Because according to this constitution, when the president is not there, you must go to an extraordinary conference to elect a president. So you want to have a vacuum?
I also know that the SG of the party can, take up the mantle.
But the SG too wants to be elected.
Why not use the SG1, Mukandila, for example?
Mukandila also wants to be elected as a member of Central Committee.
At least for now, he hasn't expressed his plans.
No,
the general public is not aware. Only you know about that.
I am telling you that the majority of the members of the Central Committee would like to be re-elected. So should we go and say, all of us who want to be re-elected, let us resign?
So even
or is it targeted at me?
Even the appointment of Mao Sampa, you're not worried about it. It was okay. It was fine.
Why should I be worried?
Who is a player again?
Look, when we decided that people are free to contest, we followed the regulations of the party. And the regulations of the party do not say that if you want to contest a position in the party, you must resign. No.
Right.
It doesn't say that. Let's look at the people who aspired for presidency. Miles Sampa was member of Central Committee at the time that he expressed interest, and he was chairman for local government. Number 2, Chishimba Kambwili was member of Central Committee. Number 3, Chitalu Chilufya was member of the Central Committee. Number 4, Brian Mondubile was member of the Central Committee. Number 6, Emmanuel Mwamba was member of the Central Committee and was chairperson for information, deputy chairperson for information, then elevated chairperson for information. When they expressed interest in 2022, were they asked to resign? Were they not sitting in the highest policy making of the party where they could influence decisions?
I remember, I think the argument you gave to us in the media was that we wanted to ensure that when matters are being deliberated upon, everybody should be present. All the presidential aspirants, they should be in that meeting.
That is how transparent.
So you were forced actually to, or not forced, but you found it fit. You saw it fit to ensure that everybody is accommodated, is brought into the Central Committee. That's the argument you.
Yes, I brought
the justification you gave us.
I brought them in 2025 IP. I brought them in 2025. In 2022, the ones I mentioned to you were already members of the Central Committee.
Correct, you're right.
Okay? Now, 2025, I realized that Chitalu Chilufya had been dropped from the Central Committee. And nobody came here and said, why is he being dropped? He was dropped from the Central Committee. In 2025, I realized Monde was not member of Central Committee. Chitaluchilufia was not member of the Central Committee. Katotowe was not member of the Central Committee. All right? And these are resident in Zambia. The other one who was not a member of Central Committee is Mudolo. But I said because Mudolo is not ordinarily resident in Zambia, I will not consider to bring him to the Central Committee. But I'll bring these three so that they can be members of this high organization, which is the highest policy-making body, so that decisions that are being made, especially around the conference, where they will also go and aspire for presidency, they must be part and parcel of.
When
Now-
are you? Yeah, I want us to
Now,
move quickly.
Yes, now.
Yes.
This is the reason why I have no problem whatsoever with whoever it is in the party, irrespective of what position they hold in the Central Committee.
Right.
If they aspire for presidency, let it be. Let them use their office. Okay? Today, as I speak, Honorable Grayford Monde is chairman for mobilization, but he's an aspiring candidate. If you go around saying, because I'm chairman for mobilization, I'm going to mobilize people to become members of my team, then you'll be going past.
Are you also
goalpost.
mindful, Honorable Lubinda, with the time that I think you're remaining with about 5-6 months from now before the nominations, for the general elections, and your party is still, in ICU. Maybe that could be the reason why some of your fellow competitors are looking at time. Look, Honorable Lubinda and the team, they are not really showing direction. We'll set up the structures and move on like that. Maybe.
Which team? Because we've just agreed here now,
Yeah.
IP, that there are only two contestants who are not members of the Central Committee. One is Mudolo, who I didn't appoint because he's not ordinarily resident in Zambia. The
And
other one is Katotowe, who rejected my
The
appointment.
offer, I remember that.
Now,
So,
the others are all members of the Central
So
Committee.
when are you going to
and
the convention?
If decisions are made in the Central Committee, how can the same people who are members of the Central Committee turn around and say it is one person who's making those decisions?
right.
How can they?
So what is the official
If
position
anyone,
now?
if I want to say, if
Yeah.
any one of those aspirants comes to this television station and exonerates themselves and divorces themselves from the decisions that have been made by the Central Committee, then they are not worthy of being elected as presidents because they are insincere. And you don't want an insincere president.
When is the convention going to be
The
held?
only two who can possibly claim that they're not part of the decision making is Mudolo and Katotowe. And as for the last decision that was made in November, Honorable Katotowe was in that meeting. So he was bound by that decision.
It was in the Central Committee?
He was in the meeting of all the presidential aspirants,
Right. Not in the Central
not
Committee.
in the Central Committee.
Right.
Huh? And we've had several other meetings as aspirants. And Honorable Katotowe has been participating. We've been having virtual meetings for presidential aspirants, and Mudolo has been participating. And Mwamba has been participating.
Fast forward, when are you holding the convention?
When you hear people saying
Yeah.
Lubinda this and Lubinda that, Lubinda is the one who's delaying, it is from a heart of insincerity. And they think that by saying Lubinda, they will turn the whole country against me. They will turn the whole party against me. But the truth always outlives lies.
Let's hear it from the party president. When is the PF holding its convention? You've been postponing the convention, I don't know from when, up to the latest one, I think it was early this year.
I explained the postponement in 2022.
You mentioned that.
I explained how
Correct.
it came about.
Yes. You also came out, and I remember very well that you said that with or without the Chavinga and the injunction, filed against us, we shall go for a convention. That failed, of course. You failed to fulfill your words, Honorable Lubinda.
No. Which one? Make it clear.
After the 9th, you mentioned that because the Chavinga filed an injunction.
Yes.
Okay? And I remember the statement you issued was that with or without the injunction filed by Chavinga, the PF shall go to the convention.
After 9th of
of January
Which year?
This year.
2026.
Correct.
What's the date today?
Today we're talking about 21st.
21st.
Yes.
What did I say in the address? I said we are now waiting for the two cases in court. The one on the 9th and the one on the 12th. And I said, irrespective of the outcome, the leaders of the Patriotic Front will very soon after the 12th meet to decide on the date of the conference, and they'll decide on the umbrella to use.
Right.
Right?
And that is where we are today.
So you cannot say that I did not fulfill my word.
Right.
You can't. That would be very unfair, IP, to say that.
Right.
Because soon and very soon after the 12th, we convened the Central Committee meeting on Saturday.
Right.
Okay? And after that meeting, DSG Mukandila published a communique where he stated that the Central Committee met. And what did they decide? That we shall have a conference when?
In February.
By end of
February.
So you can't say that I didn't honor my word.
Is that the final decision? Because
that is the decision of the Central Committee.
The fact remains that the PF is known for flip-flopping. They will tell you come January, they will
on what have we
systematically
on what have we
bring excuses.
On what have we flip-flopped? I told you, please.
You've explained, of course. I agree with you totally.
Yes, when the decision was made to postpone the meeting because of Mutomboko, is that flip-flopping? The next one was 29th of November, when the presidential aspirants themselves met and they said, because of this injunction, we propose that we should not go to the convention because we'll be risking being in contempt of court. Is that flip-flopping? No. It is not flip-flopping.
Speak to your members.
And now, we have said by the end of February.
And that is the final decision.
That is the final.
I want you to put this on record.
That is the decision that was made by the Central Committee.
Right.
Yes. And you can't say to me, are you going to change? The decision has been made and everybody involved is working towards that.
When you talk about the Patriotic Front, it's basically more like, it's very active, maybe on the ground. On paper, it's somewhere else. Someone is holding on to the Patriotic Front, and that is Honorable Robert Chawinga. He has been very open with you, especially you as a president, that look, if you want peace, if you want the PF to go to a convention, tell those individuals like Honorable Lubinda to come to me. I'm the only person who can sanction a convention. Have you taken note of that?
Go on, let me listen to what he says.
Correct. And he tells us and the general public that, look, they are just wasting their time and money. The only person who has got the powers to sanction the convention, it is I, Robert Chawinga. At the same time, again, I will ask you that, have you tried to approach Honorable Chawinga, maybe to dialogue, to conversate with him, maybe in the background? Say, my brother, there's an issue here. Can we reconcile? Can we have the meeting of the minds? Because you may set up the February month and you begin to prepare for your convention. Later on, something else happen. Well, because you've left Chawinga somewhere else. By the way, let me just rightly put it that Chawinga, he says he is the only president in the PF, meaning that he is your president, you, Honorable Given Lubinda, and the team.
Had that been the case, we would not have been in court. We would not have been in court. The reason why we're in court is because no one recognizes his authority. No one even recognizes his membership of the Patriotic Front except the executive of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, and Nelly Muti. They're the ones who recognize his authority. The members of the Patriotic Front don't recognize his authority. None. I have not heard any of the aspiring candidates in the PF saying they recognize Chawinga. All of them recognize somebody else. All of them are pointing fingers at one man who they know is the one who holds the fort. So Chawinga can say whatever he wants. It doesn't matter to us. And whether we are talking to Chawinga or not in private, that will remain there in private. We were having conversations with Mao Sampa in private. Did we come to TV to say we are having conversations? No. We only came to TV after the conversations went into fruition. I'm not the kind of person who will be telling you what I discuss with people in private, then I bring them to television. No. So whether there is conversation or not, private conversation, leave it there. It's private. For now, what is in the public domain, we are in court. And also, you just said here that I indicated in the New Year's address that under whatever umbrella, meaning we have reached that Rubicon. We can now decide we are not going to use this umbrella, we shall use this other umbrella.
Right.
Okay? And if that will please Chabinga, so be it. But we've gotten to that point where my words are being fulfilled. I said after the 12th, whatever the outcome, the Central Committee, I actually used the word, the leaders of the owners of the movement, the PF movement, will decide on the date of the conference and whatever umbrella they will use to help that conference.
Right.
If it's going to be PF, so be it. If it's going to be another umbrella, it shall be.
Right.
So Chabinga can say whatever he wants. It doesn't affect me in any way whatsoever.
Your PF has been also expelled by the Tonse grouping. That's according to Professor Dan Pule. What's the position now? It's like you are fighting so many battles here. You're in a dilemma right now.
We're only fighting one battle.
Which one?
We're fighting the devil. All this, what is happening to the Patriotic Front, is the work of the devil. And the devil is so strong that he doesn't want light to come back into Zambia. And we are not fighting individuals. No. We in the Patriotic Front do not have sufficient interest in fighting battles with individuals. Right. So I cannot even refer to names here. I will deal with the principles of the matter. And in dealing with the principle of the matter, when it was announced that the Patriotic Front has been expelled from Tonse, I'm sure that your viewers noticed that we did not respond. We remained mute. We then convened a Tonse Council of Leaders meeting, which I chaired as chairman of Tonse. And I chaired it on the strength of the Constitution of Tonse, which provides that the Patriotic Front shall be the anchor party of the Tonse Alliance, which provides that the president of PF shall be chairman of Tonse, and which is fortified by the fact that when my position as acting chairman for Tonse was challenged last year, March last year, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, in his hospital bed, realized that this was unacceptable, that I was being ridiculed. He posted on his Facebook page that I left an acting president of the Patriotic Front. And that acting president of the Patriotic Front is acting chairman of Tonse. He went further to issue a story to one of the popular newspapers in Zambia. And that story was read by everybody. So, fortified by that position, I chaired a meeting of the Council of Leaders. The wisdom of the Council of Leaders of Tonse was that, look, this is not something that must distract us from what is important. As an opposition political party, what is it that we're aiming at? To win the support of the people, to give confidence to the people. And how do we do that? We don't do that by going to Hotel Intercontinental to go and drink tea and have boardroom meetings. No. We don't do that by social media postings. No. We don't do that by printing T-shirts with my portrait on and we say we're winning confidence of the people. No. How do we win the confidence of the people? By being on the ground. At that particular time, as you remember, IP, there was Chawama. And the Council of Leaders said, please, this is too trivial a matter being expelled from Tonse is too trivial a matter. Focus on the ball. Let us go to Chawama. Let us go and campaign in Chawama. Let us galvanize the support of the people in Chawama. And let us also go to Kasama. Let us go and campaign in Kasama. That was the decision of the Council of Leaders of the Tonse, which I chaired. That information was communicated to the public. Last Saturday, when the Central Committee of the PF met, again the matter was presented to the Central Committee. A report was rendered to the Central Committee that this is what had happened in between. And members of the Central Committee of the PF also said, we are not going to be distracted by this triviality. This is too small a matter. What is important is opposition unity and not titles. We are therefore not going to respond to this until after we've finished Kasama. After we've finished Kasama, then we as a Central Committee will now come and pronounce ourselves on this triviality. We cannot make a trivial issue go ahead of a big issue. This is a red herring. And that's why I'm saying that it is not those individuals you're talking about. There is something bigger than that. Who on earth can go and throw a red herring? You and I have agreed, Panja IP, there's a lion. Let's go and face that lion before it comes into the village. And then some person comes to us and says, oh, apa Gwirambeva, and you tend to Mbeva. The lion will enter the village and maul all of you. If you are a reasonable person, you are focused, what will you do? You will say, this is just a rat. Kaleke ni kambeva. Tie ni panja hapa pali nkondo tione lion ni panja. That is what the Tonse Council of Leaders decided. That was what the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front decided. That what is big in this matter for us in the Patriotic Front, for us in the Tonse, is Chawama and Kasama.
So basically, from where you stand, you still remain as a Tonse chairperson.
Yes. I am Tonse Council Chairman.
You don't recognize or acknowledge the fact that your party and you yourself, you were expelled from the Tonse. It's actually even confusing me. I don't know which question will be correct to ask you. Tonse expels you, and then you are telling me that you are a chairman of the Tonse. I don't know which Tonse and firing and what's the issue here?
Look, the Tonse Alliance Constitution, besides being very clear that the PF shall be the anchor party, it also says that 50% of the members of the Council of Leaders shall be members of PF.
The constitution has been changed, by the way.
Yeah, but you don't change a constitution willy-nilly.
The anchor party thing has been removed, has been deleted by the Tonse leaders,
but if
led by Dr. Professor Dan Pule.
Look, if you are anchor party and you have 50% membership to the Council of Leaders, okay? And that 50% is not in that meeting. The chairman of that Council of Leaders is not in that meeting. And somebody comes and says, I've removed the anchor party. And I've removed the party which would provide the chairman. What is that? Isn't that a coup? Isn't it a coup? So when you ask the question, am I chairman of Tonse? Yes, I am chairman of Tonse. And after the elections in Kasama, the PF and the Tonse will make its announcement on that meeting that was held by our friends.
Whether you want to call it Tonse 1 or Tonse 2, led by Professor Dan Pule, because I'm saying that because you also, claim that you're also a Tonse chairman. Professor Dan Pule and the team, they are also claiming to be the Tonse leaders. So I'll ask this question from a neutral perspective. They are having a convention that will be this month. Professor Dan Pule, the Tonse members, will be electing their presidential candidate come this month. Will you participate?
I said we will make our decisions known when? After Kasama.
Wow.
So even that question will be answered after the by-election in Kasama. And when you say Tonse 1, Tonse 2, as far as we are concerned, there's only one Tonse.
Led by Professor Dan?
No, led by me. That's as far as we're concerned. There's only one Tonse led by myself. That's all. And when we come out of Kasama, we in Tonse, we in PF shall make our decisions known. For now, we don't want to be distracted.
Right.
For now, we want to appeal to all those who subscribe to be members of Tonse to go out into Kasama.
Right.
To go and campaign the way we campaigned in Chawama.
When are you going yourself? When I joining the team?
So that jointly, we in the opposition defeat Goliath. That's what we must be aiming at. Let us go and galvanize our people. Let us go and sensitize our people. Let us go and give hope to the Zambian people by winning in Kasama in the same way that we won in Chawama. That is what must be primary on our minds. Everything else about positions and so on is trivial. It's very trivial. It does not add value. Who is called chairman or called vice chairman or called president is immaterial in the face of this Herculean challenge we have in Kasama. To start tearing ourselves to pieces now instead of confronting the lion is being extremely myopic. For us, the instructions I got from the Tonse Council of Leaders, the instructions I got from the Central Committee are that leave this matter behind. We'll come back to it after we've finished a big job in Kasama. So we'll come and discuss this after that.
Quickly, let's just spend 5 minutes, then we go. Honorable Lubinda will divide, I think, a minute for each question. The Chawama victory, what does it mean to you as PF president? I mean, you vigorously campaigned for Honorable Nundwe now, defeating the ruling party. What does it mean ahead of the elections in the next few months from now?
Congratulations to the people of Chawama. They are the ones who turned out to go and cast their votes. And they casted their votes in the right place. They casted their votes not only for Bright Nundwe. Right. This victory is not necessarily for Bright Nundwe. This victory is not necessarily for the Patriotic Front. This victory is to be shared by all Zambians. Shared by all Zambians because Zambians have been made to believe that it is impossible to beat UPND. Right. And that victory coming in the new year, 2026, the last year of Hakainde's reign, is a godsend because it gives the confidence to the Zambian people that what they were being made to believe is actually not true. Right? That Hakainde Hichilema and UPND are unbeatable. Now it has become clear that if we put our energy to it, if we pull together as opposition, Hakainde is a man of yesteryears. Come 17th of August, there will be regime change. So that was victory for all Zambians who are yearning for change. And change must come. I am also extremely proud of all those men and women who sacrificed their time, their financial and material resources to go out in Chawama to go and campaign. A lot of people spent a lot of resources there to campaign for the PF. I also want to salute all the other opposition political parties that took part. There are some who took part by sitting in boardrooms and saying, yes, the opposition shall win. Thank you for your support. Like I said to you, there are some who sent T-shirts with their portraits and gave them to our members to go and wear their T-shirts. Thank you. that also assisted in the campaign. There are some who sent us 1,000 kwacha, thank you, even 500 kwacha, thank you. That all added. There are also other opposition leaders who actually came and walked with us. Thank you. There are others who competed against us. Even for them, thank you. What that shows is that the opposition may win, even in its state of disintegration. But it is also an indication that the opposition will win if we unite. We may win if we're disintegrated. We may win. But we certainly will win if we come together.
And when I talk about unity, really, I'm listening to you. Other people are saying the PF, you are a group of people who are too selfish. You know, you preach about unity and the cooperation or togetherness, and you want everyone to come into your camp. There's that arrogance within the PF where you tell yourself that we are bigger enough, we are the anchor party, we are the biggest opposition, and yet your party is divided, is decimated right now. Why not shift your structures maybe into other political parties? Why can't you say, okay, Fred member, where are you? I think we want to shift in your camp. You say, Nason Msoni, where are you? We want to come into your party. KBF, maybe give us your party so that we can run together. The CF, Harry Kalaba, you've been around, can we join you? But all you are saying, when the moment you say let's unite together, it's like you want people to come to you as a PF.
Had we been that arrogant, had we been as arrogant as some people claim we are, we would not have agreed that we use other special purpose vehicles to contest elections. Would have said we're better off not contesting because the PF is not being allowed to contest. Had we been greedy people. But because we are not greedy, because we are selfless, because we are interested more in the opposition than even in our own political party, that is the reason why we agreed that, look, even if it's not the PF that's on the ballot paper, let's support NCP. We knew the risk of doing that. That once they win, they may just divorce themselves from us and say, after all, this is our MP. We knew that. But we said, what is in it for the opposition collectively is more important.
I want to conclude. You've just reminded me when you mentioned the NCP, Peter Chandai came here and lamented that you almost staged a coup on his party, you yourself, Honorable Lubinda, and a man who's not here to defend himself, in Chris Zumanizimba, but the man who was at the helm of orchestrating that purported coup, it was you yourself. And my question is, why at your level as Honorable Given Lubinda did you orchestrate that alleged coup on a small party? No. It's wrong for me also to call it a small party. Let me measure myself.
Yes.
To orchestrate that alleged coup on Peter Chanda's party, NCP, which made him also to move away or escape with his political party.
I have never, ever had the courage to respond to that allegation. And when I use the word courage, I mean courage. Because it takes a lot of courage to respond to such things. I don't have that courage.
Why? Because you are guilty. I mean, you've been exposed. That's a fact.
You know, had I been exposed for anything, then I'd have had the courage to respond. But when people say things that are totally unsubstantiated and things that don't make sense, I don't want to waste my energy. I mean, who in their right frame of mind would believe that a president of the Patriotic Front, the mighty Patriotic Front, would want to go and stage a coup on a party that has never ever had a councillor? A party that doesn't have structures in the country. What would that person be benefiting? Who would ever believe that I would want to leave the PF to go and become president of NCP? Does it make sense?
It was a purpose vehicle.
So if it's a purpose vehicle,
so basically you
for
wanted
who?
to change the leadership. You wanted to impose your own leadership as Honorable Given
But
Lubinda
for who is
away
that?
from President Peter Chanda.
For who is that special purpose vehicle? Who selected it as a special purpose vehicle?
The late president
And president of what party?
of the PF.
Of the PF. Okay? And I inherited the decisions of Edgar Chagwalungu. How could I then go and say, this party, let me stage a coup, when this party is actually a special purpose vehicle selected by us? What would I be achieving by doing that?
Right.
I would achieve nothing. Nothing. And the reason also why I said I didn't have sufficient courage is because you must have courage to waste your time. I don't have courage to waste my time, because this is a waste of my time, a waste of my breath to even respond to this. And Peter Chanda himself knows too well how much I worked to build that party, to make sure that that party wins the campaigns that we were doing, even to hold that party together. He knows that too well. And so when I heard that, I just said to myself, let this stay where it belongs.
The date for the convention has been set, Honorable Given Lubinda, as you've mentioned on this program. But let's assume in an peradventure you as a competitor, you are not elected as PF president. Will you be willing to stay in the party? But above all, will you be willing to stay and serve under someone? What would be your next step in an event where you lose?
I offered myself. I have offered myself to serve the Patriotic Front.
Right.
All right? And there are many positions in the Patriotic Front.
Right.
One of them is that of president. And no person ascends to offices of leadership in politics on their own accord. If you're a member of a democratic party, a democratic institution, you are accorded the office by the owners of the party.
Right.
And if the owners of the party decide that there is somebody who is better suited than I to occupy the office of president, what would I do? Fight? No.
What will you do?
I'll accept that there is a person who the party considered to be better suited than me. And then it will be up to the new leadership to see whether I still am valuable or not. I hope you hear me. Because I can also not impose myself. I am going to contest as president, not as Central Committee member. And the Constitution says you contest only one position. If I fail as president, it means that I've failed also as member of Central Committee. All right? Then I become an ordinary member of the party. Now, will I play a role? Yes, as an ordinary member of the party, I'll play the role that any ordinary member of the party plays. But if the new leadership finds there is something else I can do, there is a role I can play, then of course we'll have to go into discussion.
Right.
Okay? And if that role that some people assign to me is a role that I think I can perform, I'll happily perform it.
Right. You have no plans to leave the party in an event if you lose?
I have invested greatly in this party.
Right.
I have invested greatly. Had I been a person who is a runaway child, the best time for me to run away would have been in 2012, when President Michael Sata was coerced to remove me from cabinet, when I was humiliated. Then I should have run away. I should have joined another political party. And I'm sure I'd have won Kabwata. And I'm saying this from experience.
Right.
I won Kabwata first on UPND ticket in 2001. 2006, I left UPND because of the tribalism that I experienced. at Mulungushi International Conference Center. I went and joined a non-existing party, ULP, and went into an agreement with PF. I went and stood in Kabwata only 3 months before the elections, and I won. In 2012, when I was humiliated, I could have quit, but I said to myself, what is in this party for the country is much bigger than what is in it for me as an individual.
Right.
And here I am. I rose through the ranks. Should I now come and abandon the Patriotic Front because the members of the party have decided that they want somebody else? No. No. The deliverance of Zambia from the yoke of tyranny and dictatorship introduced by President Hakainde Hichilema must be removed. And I want to be a part of that movement.
Right.
So, as to whether I would accept, yes, of course,
Right.
I will accept. That's the reason why I'm doing everything I can to go to the conference, so that people make their will, they make their decision.
Right.
After that, what will happen? Do I leave? No, I don't leave. I'll be an ordinary member. And to just fortify what I'm saying, you, IP, are one of those who knew that in 2019, I indicated that I would not recontest Kabwata in 2021. And I also indicated I wanted to go into oblivion and just be an ordinary member of the PF. And we agreed with my colleagues. We agreed with President Edgar Lungu. And he said to me, my friend, before you do that, between now and the elections, I'll give you a role to play. He made me his deputy campaign manager. And I campaigned the whole country, leading Professor Nkanduluo's team. Soon after that, I was ready when we lost elections. Then I said to my dear brother, boss, we have lost. It's a pity we have lost. But for me, I made up my mind. I didn't want to go back to Parliament. So I'm going home now. And he said, no, my brother, let it be me.
Going home.
Going home, not you. And there were colleagues in Inkwazi on that day after handing over power to President Hakainde. There were colleagues at Inkwazi when I said to him, sir, I said to you I want to go home. And he said, we can't, two of us, go home. And he said to everybody, I've appointed him vice president, and therefore, because I'm going into retirement, he's acting president. I said,
Right.
no, sir, please, no. I was also coming here to come and say, I'm going now to Kabwata, I'll go and start dealing with my friends in Kabwata. And he said, no. So you can see, if I wasn't willing at that time, what would force me now?
To leave the party.
Be rest assured that what is in the Patriotic Front is so important for me, extremely important.
Right.
And there is no political party that would attract me to leave the Patriotic Front.
Right. President, allow me to ask you this final question. There are a lot of talks around your political party, a lot of criticism, but of course others are saying the reason why Given Lubinda is holding on to the party, I'll recycle my question, is not popular. So he wants to advantage himself by clinging on to that position up to the time the convention is going to be held. Or if the convention is not held, he would want to be the one to be on the ballot if the PF may be on the ballot. But of course, others are saying you don't qualify to stand as a president of the party because you are a foreigner. Speak to me and my viewers out there that for the last 1 hour or 2 hours, we've been having this conversation. I've been speaking to a Zambian.
Number one, he is not popular, and he's clinging on to the leadership until the conference, which is going to happen by the end of February.
Right.
What does he benefit from doing that? If I'm not popular, would I even put my name on the ballot paper? No.
Right.
I put my name on the ballot paper because I believe I'm popular.
Right.
I put my name on the ballot paper because I know that the majority of the members of the Patriotic Front appreciate my contribution to this party.
Right.
So again, those who are saying that because they want to postpone on me. And others, like you said, are even saying he thinks that if we don't hold the conference, then he will be the candidate.
Yeah.
Huh? And those people are saying that are very educated people. Some of them have been ministers. Some of them have been members of parliament. Some of them are current members of parliament. But they are showing you how shallow they are and how trivial they are. Because they know that the Republican Constitution is very clear. You cannot be a presidential candidate for a political party unless you go through intra-party elections. Now they're saying, no, Lubinda wants to avoid the conference, so he imposes himself as a presidential candidate. Against which constitution? Not the Zambian constitution, sorry. Because the Zambian constitution at Article 60 is very clear.
You have to go for a convention
to be a presidential candidate. You must be elected according to your party constitution.
Right.
So, vauchisiru baleke, let them find something else to say. Now they bring in that, yo, Musungu.
Your nationality, you are Scottish.
He is not Zambian. Atinzeru kupelevera bati. What does the constitution say about being a member of parliament? Why didn't they petition my election in 2001, 2006, 2011, 2016? Does the Zambian constitution allow that a foreigner can be a cabinet minister? Huh? Ninzeru kupelevera uchipuba uchisilu. That's what it is. I'm sorry for using this language, but it's so shocking that a person can come and start challenging my citizenship.
And those are your own members, actually, by the way.
And that's why I'm saying
you are being exposed by your own members.
That's why I'm saying Niuchisilu. Had it been less informed people, would have said, forgive them, for they do not know. But these ones know. Huh? Article 100 explains who qualifies to be a president. And the Constitution itself provides for who is a citizen. The Constitution provides. If you read the Constitution, it will tell you who is a citizen of Zambia. And that is at Article 40, my friend. It says very clearly at Article, not 40, sorry, I gave you a wrong one. At Article 33, it talks about the categories of citizens. Number 35, a person born in Zambia is a citizen by birth if at the date of that person's birth, at least one parent of that person is or was a citizen. And some fellow comes here and says, his father is not Zambian, so he's not a citizen. Muzi wa Chizungu. The Constitution says if at least one of his parents is a citizen. Then they even go and start saying, do you know his village? Today in Zambia, you're even talking about village. How silly. How silly. There are people in this country, IP, who their grandfather is from Wengwa. Their grandmother is from Mugubudu. Okay? Their father becomes both Mugubudu and Wengwa. That's their father. Their mother is from Chinsali. Their other parent is from Northwestern. And these two come and marry. And they have children. Where do those children belong? Mugubudu. And you even come and emphasize on television. Do you know his village? Do you know? a country 60 years old? No. So the short of it, IP, is that I am Zambian.
Right.
Okay? I am Zambian. I qualify to hold the office of president because the Constitution at Article 100 is also very clear, my friend. Article 100 of the Constitution says a person qualifies to be nominated as candidate for election as president if that person is a citizen by birth. A citizen by birth. Or even descent. Can you imagine? Just by descent. You were born in Mongolia, but from Zambian parents. You are a citizen by descent. Now, what about for me who was born here in Zambia? So, number one, I am a bona fide citizen of Zambia, proud citizen of Zambia. I actually am a headman.
Right.
Okay, I'm a headman.
Where?
And my children are actually heirs to the throne of Senior Chief Mushota, where this man who went on television challenging my citizenship is actually a subject. He's a subject of my children. Yes. Ask him, he comes from Chief Mushota. And he knows that my children, my blood, are here to the throne of Chief Mushota.
Davis Mwira is aware about that.
I don't know who you are talking about. Me, I'm talking about that fellow who came on television.
But at least you know him.
No, I don't care who he is, but I'm just telling you.
Right.
I don't want to mention names.
Right.
I don't want to mention names. So the truth
Right.
of the matter is that, yes, I'm a bona fide citizen. And yes, I qualify to hold any office in the land.
Right.
From the lowest to the highest. And nobody can challenge me on that. And I would like to also just tell members of the Patriotic Front that this is very cheap politicking, very cheap, demeaning propaganda. And I'd like to ask those who are campaigning, please campaign on facts. Let's have, focused campaign. Let's have campaigns of sincerity and truth.
Right.
Demeaning one another is terrible. And those remarks are actually racial remarks. And I heard that some people who were upset by this matter have reported to the police.
Oh, okay. This matter has been reported to the police.
This matter has been reported to the police.
Right.
And I'm hoping that the police will do what they're supposed to do. And I myself decided I'm not going to be involved. Again, I don't have the courage to take on such fights. I don't have the courage. There are bigger and better fights to take on, not such fights. They don't add value to me.
President, thank you so much for coming through to the bigger program. We wish you all the best with the Patriotic Front and you members of the opposition in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm hoping that tomorrow DSG Miles Sampa should be given bond because the offense for which he has been put in the cells is really not an offense that requires one to be subjected to such punishment.
Right.
And in addition to that, I want to appeal to His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, please, you are head of state. You did not apply to be made a constable. If the job of president has become too heavy that you start being a constable, to start saying that is a crime, that is a crime. No, you're demeaning the office of president. Please continue to be presidential.
Right.
Concentrate on presidential matters. You can't, as president, start to pronounce this is a crime. And as soon President Hakainde must know that his office is a very powerful office. The moment the president coughs, his lieutenants are in problems. When he just sneezes, others cough. When he says this is a crime, it is an instruction to the constable, because the constable will say, my boss has noticed that this is a crime, I didn't see it as a crime, they will take action. And I have every reason to suspect that this is the reason why Mao Sampa is arrested. Because President Hakainde the previous day on Diamond TV said, this is a crime. The following day, poor Mao Sampa is arrested. I would like to appeal to President Hakainde, you are not a constable. We didn't employ you. The 2.8 million did not employ you to be a constable. They employed you to be a president.
Right. Thank you so much. We end the program this evening. I've been host